fair, accurate from our newsrooms in Eugene, Roseburg, and Coos Bay. KVAL News starts now.
We've already seen snow in the hills of South Eugene, and even more could be on the way. Good evening. I'm David Walker.
And I'm Yasmin Dar. Thanks for joining us this evening.
We'll have more on the snow coming up here in a minute, but first we have breaking news to tell you about tonight. Part of the Northwest Expressway is closed right now after a police chase.
KVAL Smitha George is live just north of Eugene with the latest details. Smitha?
Well, that's right. We are out here at what is still a very active situation near Northwest Expressway. As you mentioned, cars being redirected behind us may partially block our view, but take a look at what we're seeing. That U-Haul truck that crashed out there is what police say led them on a high-speed chase starting in West Eugene around 3:30 and ending right here just an hour ago. And while we're still learning more about what's unfolded, we do know the driver and passenger of the U-Haul truck are in custody and were not injured in that when that truck crashed just a little while ago. Now, Northwest Expressway is blocked off between Aubrey Lane and Irvington Drive. We will continue to follow the story and keep you updated with all of the latest details. Make sure to stick with KVAL News. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll have more information. Live near Northwest Expressway in North Eugene, I'm Smitha George, KVAL News.
Thank you, Smitha. KVAL News is committed to fair and accurate coverage. Let us know if we missed a side of the story. You can give us a call or send us a message through email, Facebook, or Twitter. Well, now to the weather. It's going to be a big story. Winter in full swing, and we're about to get hit, it looks like, with more snow.
Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is in the Weather Center tonight with more. Hey, Candace.
Well, hey, guys. Yeah, much cooler day today with more snow and even some rain. Here's right now what it looks like on the satellite and radar. We had a very strong cold front that moved through the area early this morning. That dropped temperatures down as well, bringing plenty of rain and even some snow. Just how much rain did we see? Just over 1/10 of an inch in Eugene as well as Roseburg, over an inch further north in Newport. The winds picked up as well today. Right now, 9 miles per hour in Eugene, a bit breezier along the coast, around 13 in Coos Bay, North Bend. Our highs today were actually early this morning, 50 degrees in Eugene, 52 degrees in Coos Bay, North Bend, as well as Roseburg. But the temperatures took a tumble throughout the afternoon hours thanks to that cold front passing through. 43 right now in Eugene, 39 already in Roseburg, 46 degrees in Coos Bay, North Bend. Now, are you wondering how much colder is it today than yesterday? About 6 to 17 degrees colder, 14 degrees colder in Eugene and 17 in Roseburg. But stick around, I'll have your full forecast, plus the possibility of seeing some more low-level snow coming up in my full forecast.
All right, thanks, Candace. Well, with this chilly winter weather, it's hard to imagine that 2012 was the warmest year on record in the continental U.S., and that's according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Yeah, it seems a little strange. KVAL's Lauren Lee has been checking into that today, and she's here with more. Lauren?
Yeah, David, government scientists have been keeping data for more than a century, and they say the average temperature in 2012 was 55.3 degrees. I went to the Oregon State University campus today to talk to climatologist Philip Mote to find out why this is happening, but he says there's no quick and easy answer.
What we know beyond the shadow of a doubt is that humans have raised the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere by about 40%, and and there's almost no disagreement that that has caused some amount of warming over the last 50 or so years. Whether any one event is tied to that is a big scientific question, and scientists will be trying to answer that in the coming year or more.
And Mote says the data does concern him. He says global warming has a lot of consequences that people may not be aware of.
We have a health alert tonight. If you haven't gotten the flu yet this winter, you might want to start taking some extra precautions.
KVAL's Nicole Comstock is here to tell us why flu season is expected to peak in Lane County. Nicole?
That's right, Yasmin. A local assisted living facility just reported a large group with flu-like symptoms, and some doctors are saying flu season is about to peak in Oregon.
Sore throat, cough, fever. Just it feels like a head cold at first, but it gets a little worse than that.
These are just some of the flu-like symptoms residents at the Briarwood Assisted Living Facility in Springfield are battling.
So about 55 individuals have come down with the flu. 19 of those individuals have had to seek hospitalization of some kind, 13 being admitted to the hospital for long-term care.
But Briarwood Executive Director Jessica Knox tells a different story.
We have 6 confirmed cases of influenza A.
Knox says a lot of residents reported not feeling well, but some of their symptoms were due to pre-existing conditions. Some of those hospital visits, she says, were due to falls. Jason Davis with Lane County Health and Human Services says the flu spreads in close quarters.
It is typical, though. Anytime you have that number of people in that small of space, you'll see that kind of transmission.
Other assisted living facilities in the area are taking precautions against a flu outbreak.
We'll post notices on the doors of the building, all the entries, alerting staff or other visitors that there is people in the building that have been sick, and to again avoid the building if they don't need to be in the building.
Cindy Morgan is Lane County's communicable disease supervisor. She says this is a good time to get a flu shot.
When people get the flu, they often describe it as being hit by a truck. They have a fever, they're sore, they have muscle aches.
A little pinch now can save you a lot of pain in the long run.
Now again, those with confirmed cases of the flu had influenza type 1, and there are still many pharmacies and health centers giving vaccinations.
We have a crime alert tonight. Eugene police arrested a man for allegedly threatening an adult care facility. They say 45-year-old Scott Gorman made the threat after he was upset about their care provided to a family member. Police say Gorman is a felon and also had an AR-15 assault rifle. Investigators are still looking into how Gorman was able to purchase the rifle. A Salem man is accused of having sex with an underage girl and tattooing his name on her. The victim, who is now 17, says 30-year-old Matthew Rader gave her 3 tattoos, one of which simply reads Matt Rader, when she was 15. He pleaded not guilty to several charges, including second-degree rape and online corruption of a child.
A Corvallis man will spend 13 months in prison for forcing an acquaintance who was drunk to have sex with him. 28-year-old Nicholas Carlson pleaded guilty to second-degree sex abuse. The victim says the abuse happened last May after the two had been out drinking. Police have arrested a man in connection with a hit-and-run crash late last night near Centennial and Mill in Springfield. Springfield police say they found 30-year-old Jesse Carl Bridges after he had fled the scene. Witnesses say the crash involved a car and a pickup truck, and one person was hospitalized. Neighbors came out when they heard loud noise and saw a man staggering from the car.
I heard a loud noise, like tires screeching. So I ended up throwing on a shirt and shoes and rushed right out of the house. I thought the hoses were on the ground at first, were like electrical wire. It was pretty dark outside, and he just ended up running away before I knew it.
Bridges was booked into the Lane County Jail and charged with hit and run, DUI, and reckless driving.
A Corvallis woman died yesterday afternoon while she was hit by a car. The Benton County Sheriff's Office say 89-year-old Eleanor Zimmerman was going to get her mail on Fern Road when she was hit by a 65-year-old woman, also of Corvallis. Officials don't think drugs or alcohol were involved.
A KVAL follow-up tonight. The federal government has suspended the operating license of the bus company involved in a fatal crash that killed 9 people on I-84 near Pendleton last month. The government says the Vancouver, BC-based tour company failed to ensure drivers had enough rest. The bus ran through a guardrail and rolled down an embankment while returning from Las Vegas. 47 people were aboard. Survivors say the driver ignored weather warnings, drove too fast on the ice, and drove for long stretches. Covering the nation, at least 70 people were injured in New York City when a commuter ferry slammed into a dock in Lower Manhattan this morning. Officials say the ferry being docked slammed into this pier. Passengers say the impact knocked some people off their feet.
Just a slap bang, and I just went forward, and my face hit the seat in front of me.
I went flying in the air, and I woke up from a daze 6 feet later ahead of me.
The ferry was carrying more than 300 people at the time of the crash. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused that accident.
Well, after more than 50 years, a longtime Springfield business has shut down. Gray's Garden Center on Main Street closed for good December 24th. Managers say the continued slow economy forced the hard decision. Company president James Klein says the West Eugene Gray store will stay open. He says no jobs have been lost because of the Springfield store closure. We have a consumer alert tonight. The popular discount store Nordstrom Rack may be making its way to Eugene. KVAL's Carly Gomez has more on a negotiation in the works. Carly?
Yasmin, I spoke with Oakway Center owner Steve Korth today, and he says they are in negotiations with Nordstrom to take over the old Borders space. Shoppers I spoke to say they couldn't be more thrilled.
Love it. Just love it.
I'm so excited. I can't even wait for that. That's so exciting. I can't even tell you how much I'm happy about that.
Oakway says they're still working on a contract with Nordstrom to bring their discount store, Nordstrom Rack, into the empty Borders.
It's nice to be able to get those like designer type stuff. on sale, and it's nice to have a Nordstrom's around because sometimes like Macy doesn't always have everything that you want.
Oakway owner Steve Korth says it's been a long negotiation, and they hope to get the lease and contract signed soon. So what are shoppers most excited about?
Shoes. Definitely shoes.
Just some nice clothes.
And shoes. Their shoes are always great.
Yes.
I love their shoe department. It's always got the great sales for Steve Madden, and I like Steve Madden a lot. So that, and also, I don't know, they've just got pretty much everything you really need at a decent price.
Many say they think the new store would do very well in Eugene.
Well, I mean, going anywhere where they have sales on like your favorite name brands and stuff is nice, so I'm sure they'll make a lot of money here.
Nothing is definite yet, but Oakway says they hope to have everything worked out within the next few weeks.
A new smartphone app is making it easier to find parking spots on the Oregon State University campus. The app is called Parker. It's designed to help those with disabilities and accessible parking in real time. Sensors have been installed on the ground, and when a car parks, the app knows that spot is taken.
About it on campus, and so what the app does is a user with a disability, a DMV placard holder, and an OSU permit holder can download the app to their smartphone and look up parking locations in real time.
Oregon State is the third university in the nation to use the app. It's free for anyone with a smartphone.
Pretty cool stuff. Well, maybe you're thinking about buying your first recreation vehicle, and now you're wondering, how will I survive the first trip?
KVAL's Tom Adams reports a free driving school this week is working to get people comfortable behind the wheel.
Well, welcome to Cone Killing 101, a driver safety course unlike any other.
You're going to drive?
I am the driver.
All right.
I'm the guinea pig.
This is not like the driver's ed course I had back in high school. This is for RV newbies. The free driving clinic is put on by Guarantee RV in Junction City. Part of it's RV Palooza.
So what do you show people on what to do?
Well, we show them how to turn. We show them how to pick spots to turn. We also teach them how to back up.
Callahan stresses one of the biggest skills new RV drivers must learn is making corrections slowly.
Not fast. That's a big mistake everybody does. They correct fast and they jackknife.
Now it's time for your reporter to take the course.
How close am I cutting this?
You're right on it.
Is the distance actually more?
Yeah, you're actually about 1.5 feet away.
The cones are still alive.
Even Coach Larry, the instructor, survives the backup parking drill.
Right there.
Right there.
Now, if you would go back there and look at that sign, you're about that far from that sign.
The course will be offered between now and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Here at the Lane County Fairgrounds, Tom Adams, KVAL News.
Nice job behind the wheel, Tom. Next on KVAL News at 5, are college students getting enough exercise? Find out why not all schools require students to take PE.
First, fair, accurate. From our newsrooms in Eugene, Roseburg, and Coos Bay, KVAL News starts now.
I am. It's a very difficult decision for me. It took me so long to make it just because the people here are special. And that was the challenge, obviously, is exciting for me, but it's an exciting time.
An unexpected decision from Chip Kelly as he announces he's going to the NFL. Good evening, I'm David Walker.
And I'm Yasmin Dar. Thanks for joining us tonight. We have team coverage tonight of Chip's decision to go pro. Lauren Lee talked with students at the U of O.
Nicole Comstock talked with people around Eugene, and Phil Milani spoke to Duck football players after the big announcement.
But first, let's join KVAL Sports Director Tom Ward with the latest details. Tom?
Well, guys, 8 days after telling Athletic Director Rob Mullins he was staying at Oregon to coach the Ducks for at least another year, Chip Kelly is now leaving for the NFL and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have a 10:15 a.m. Pacific time press conference where Kelly will be announced as the replacement to the fired Andy Reid. Kelly was 46-7 in 4 years as the Ducks head coach and nearly left a year ago for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, recall, but this time it's for real. And this morning he started by saying goodbye to his players.
That part was tough, and our players were awesome. The way they handle everything, they're fantastic, and I love those guys, and they wish me nothing but the best, and I'm excited to get moving, and they're excited too. You know, this program's always been a next man up operation, and whether it's a coach or a player or whatever, and those guys understand that.
Now that was Kelly at the airport early Wednesday afternoon as he was about to board an airplane headed for Philadelphia. Now Kelly endorsed his entire coaching staff, saying the football team would be in good hands with any of them as head coach. Now, Rob Mullins is now scrambling in the wake of Kelly's decision to bolt. The athletic director called it job number one as he begins the task of deciding who is going to be Kelly's replacement as the new head coach of the Oregon football team. While acknowledging there are a number of internal candidates, Mullins noted that a national search would take place. As for the continuity that has been enjoyed by Oregon over the years, from Rich Brooks handing down to Mike Bellotti and then handing it down to Chip Kelly, Mullins says that will weigh heavily, but it won't be the only factor.
You know, it's extremely important to me because it has played a key role, but it's not the only factor. So it's something, you know, these are complex, and so there's a lot of factors, a lot of variables that will weigh in. It won't be the only one, but it's one that we will give serious consideration.
Now, as for recruiting and the 13 verbal commitments that Oregon has so far from high schoolers, Mullins noted that the assistants are the ones who have the most contact with prospective student athletes, and they will manage that situation effectively. So as quickly as he was named the successor to Mike Bellotti in January of 2009, Chip Kelly is out of Eugene, headed back to where he came from first, the Northeast. A look at Kelly's rise to prominence in collegiate coaching. In 1999, he was promoted to offensive coordinator at New Hampshire. He was in that position until 2007. That's when Mike Bellotti went and plucked him out of that program from 3,000 miles away. 2 years later, after Bellotti stepped aside to become the athletic director, Kelly was promoted and led the Ducks to the Rose Bowl in his first season and a 10-3 campaign. The next year, that perfect 12-0 regular season capped off by the last-second loss to Auburn in the BCS national title game. Last season, the Ducks won their third straight conference crown and their first Rose Bowl win in 95 years, going 12-2. And then earlier this month, Kelly capped off his third straight 12-win season with the victory over Kansas State in the Fiesta Bowl. Now he's headed to Philadelphia, where the Eagles have a new head coach after an exhaustive search. I checked in with Joe DeCamara, the Eagles pregame radio host, regarding what he thinks of the Eagles' hiring of Kelly.
What will be fascinating to watch at the NFL level is to what extent he utilizes a quarterback that has the capability to run. It's a clear part of his offense at Oregon, and if he does not do that, then it's a tremendous deviation from what he's done in Oregon. I think the expectation is that he will. Well, if he's planning on a running quarterback, Nick Foles, who finished the Eagles season as the quarterback, is not that guy.
Statement from Jeffrey Lurie on Wednesday afternoon regarding Kelly. Quote, he has a brilliant football mind. He motivates his team with actions as well as his words. He will be a great leader for us and will bring a fresh, energetic approach to our team. Now, the Eagles have not hired a college coach to be their head man since Dick Vermeil from UCLA back in 1976. So what do the student athletes and members of the Oregon football team think about all of this? Let's go live to Autzen Stadium. KVAL's Phil Milani is there. And Phil, what was the general sentiment of the guys you talked to?
Hey, Tom. Well, we actually just got done talking with the guys. We talked to Ronis Grasu, we talked to Brian Jackson, and they said they were actually here at the Mo Center working out this morning when Kelly stopped by with the big news. And they said that Kelly got right to the point and that he told them that right away that he was going to be leaving the team. He said that he got a little bit emotional, told the guys that he loved them. The players' reaction, though, they said they weren't too surprised. Grasu said that he knew Kelly's dream was to make it to the NFL. As for the future, they said that they're confident that they can keep the success going.
He said that it's us that really keeps this program going, and I fully believe him on that. And me and myself, a couple of other teammates, I'm sure they all agree that we can keep this thing rolling even without him.
If you just transfer because Coach Kelly left, because this program isn't going to go anywhere, we're going to still be at the top of college football, and I have no doubt in my mind that that's going to happen.
As for the future head coach, Grasu said that he hopes whoever gets the job will run the same offense. It would be pretty hard to imagine the Ducks actually huddling up and slowing down. As for Jackson's reaction to the new guy, he says that he has no say, so it doesn't matter to him. Live at Autzen Stadium, I'm Phil Milani, KVAL Sports.
Well, thanks a lot, Phil. Of course, Brian Jackson, one of our go-to guys all year. So now the big question, where does this leave offensive coordinator Mark Helfrich, who has been said to be the successor to Kelly? Now, in the past, sources with knowledge of the situation have told me that when Chip Kelly did indeed leave Oregon, that offensive coordinator Mark Helfrich was next in line to be the fourth head coach since 1977 at the U of O. But state law requires universities to interview minority candidates for all head coaching and athletic director jobs. Now, as for Chip's big decision, former head coach Mike Bellotti weighed in on ESPN Wednesday afternoon.
I said that it was inevitable, and I wasn't sure it was going to happen. Chip and I spoke about a week ago, and he talked about the fact that he'd sort of made up his mind and the NFL was not what he was going to do at this point. But I said, you got to watch out because they'll keep coming back after you, and they can tend to be fairly persuasive. And I think obviously something changed in his thinking, whether it was buyer's remorse, the remorse you have about making a decision, or, they may have upped the ante.
Bellotti, a guy who certainly knows plenty about this matter, and he has had to rebuff his share of offers over the years as well. So in a matter of hours this morning, the entire attitude around the Oregon football program has changed. And as we know, there's still plenty of uncertainty hanging over the program already with those NCAA investigation and alleged violations hanging around.
Well, Tom, what do you think it means? You've followed this program for so long. Do you think the Ducks are about to get that NCAA sanctions hammer, if you will, dropped on them?
I do think that some significant sanctions are coming. Now, Chip Kelly, I think, knows that as well, and I think partly that's some of the reason why he is now out of here. Now, unfortunately, in recent years, we've had a trend of coaches staying one step ahead of the law. Pete Carroll did it at USC, and now Ohio State was ineligible this past season based on transgressions committed by former coach Jim Tressel. Now, as for Oregon, the Ducks could appear in front of the NCAA Committee on Infractions as early as next month. This would appear to complicate that, as Oregon now would be continuing to try and defend the actions of a coach and possible other staff members that are no longer employed by the athletic department. So the Willie Lyles investigation may just end up defining Chip Kelly's tenure as the head coach at Oregon. Was it a win-at-all-cost mentality? Maybe so, but most fans don't seem to care, and a lot of them have enjoyed the ride. Guys?
All right.
All right, thanks so much, Tom. Well, we continue team coverage now as we go to Lauren Lee, who is live down on the University of Oregon campus with student reactions. Lauren?
Well, yeah, Yasmin, once news broke that Chip Kelly would be leaving the Ducks for the Philadelphia Eagles, news spread like wildfire, and whether or not people liked it or not, a lot of people that I talked to said that it certainly came as a surprise. This Duck is soaring to the Philadelphia Eagles. News of Chip Kelly's departure is the main talk on campus after spending 4 years in Eugene and becoming one of the most well-known coaches in college football.
It's definitely sad. It really is sad. He was a really good coach.
Social media websites started blowing up Wednesday morning with people tweeting and retweeting the news. For those who hadn't heard it yet, it came as a surprise.
Chip Kelly is leaving the Ducks to go to the Philadelphia Eagles.
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, and what do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think that that it is a symbol that the University of Oregon is producing winners who leave here and succeed.
Some don't agree with Kelly's decision.
I don't think he'll do very well in the NFL. I think it's a mistake for him, but I wish him luck, I guess.
It comes after the Fiesta Bowl game win, followed by interviews with 3 NFL teams. Kelly originally said he'd stay with the Ducks, but fans say they don't hold this change of heart against him.
That's the way it kind of always happens. I don't hold it against him necessarily. But
I really like how he works with the students. I think he's a great mentor. And I think it's fabulous that he's going to take that into the professional football realm.
All day, my Facebook and Twitter feed has been really blasted with social media tweets, things like that about Chip Kelly, and it just shows that this really affects everyone and it resonates beyond just campus. And Kate Nicole Comstock's with us right now to tell us a little bit more about what you found out today.
Yeah, Lauren, even before I talked to people, both of us found out about Chip Kelly's big move through social media. It seems like all the websites were blowing up, and for good reason. This is a historic day in Eugene history and one that people are going to remember for years to come.
Where were you when Chip Kelly left Oregon for the NFL?
It's definitely a professional atmosphere, more egos, less players on your roster, be a big issue for him, I think.
Under the hood of a car, Dan Bowden analyzed Kelly's move.
I think he did like most people. He used his leverage in negotiations, and when they backed up the truck that was loaded with enough money, then he decided it was time to go.
National Guardsman Michael Tiemann was getting a haircut.
It's very disappointing.
I just found out about 20 or 30 minutes ago, and I don't think I've honestly had time to let it all soak in.
The woman behind the Clippers says the shop's been buzzing all day.
Yeah, everybody seems to be talking about it in here. Nobody wants to see him leave.
Between bites of her burger, Karen Crowder says there might be hard feelings.
If whoever starts coaching the Ducks doesn't miss a beat and picks up where Chip left off, then we won't need him back.
Harsh words there, but most of the people I talked to today just said they were heartbroken that Chip was leaving after all those negotiations. Live at a very tearful Autzen Stadium, Nicole Comstock, KVAL News.
Chip, don't go, don't you go to Philly, Cleveland, or Buffalo. They don't have half the heart or the jersey.
That's Eugene native and singer Matt Kearney admitting today on Twitter his musical plea for Chip to stay didn't work. He tweeted this morning, should have been more specific about Philly. I failed. Well, Duck fans in Roseburg were stunned at the news that Chip Kelly is taking his visor to Philadelphia. While they're surprised Kelly changed his mind, most said they believe the Ducks will do just fine without him.
Well, I'm sad he's leaving, but I think if he takes, they'll have somebody to take his place.
We'd rather he stay. The whole family, both my sons, both in the service. They're both Duck fans.
Douglas County Duck fans telling us they wish Chip Kelly the best.
Chip Kelly's move to the NFL has fans talking all over the state. On the South Coast, Duck fans we talked with were taken by surprise.
Well, after the Fiesta Bowl, we were sure that he was staying, and then this came as a big shock that all of a sudden he's gone. So it was surprising.
You can't lose a guy like him. He's been there 4 years, 4 straight BCS Bowls, national championship run. If you stay one more year, we'll probably get the championship. But now he's gone.
Even as Chip Kelly boarded a plane for Philadelphia, there's a lot of talk about who'll take over as head coach of the Ducks. As we've been hearing, one of the names said to be at the top of Oregon's list is Oregon's offensive coordinator, Mark Helfrich. After playing quarterback at Southern Oregon, the Marshfield High School alum began his coaching career as a grad assistant under Mike Bellotti in 1997. We talked with some fans on the South Coast, including one of his former high school coaches, about the possibility of Helfrich taking over at Oregon.
A school that has built a reputation at the level they're at to be seeking a Mark Helfrich speaks volumes about who he is and what type of person he is.
Helfrich played football at Marshfield, graduating in 1992 as a valedictorian.
Well, with Chip Kelly leaving the Ducks, Beaver fans seem to be doing a little rejoicing.
KVAL's Carly Gomez has more from fans in Corvallis.
Chip is headed to Philadelphia, and Beaver fans tell me this season they're headed for a Civil War win.
I'm excited because us as Beavers, we're finally probably going to get some recognition and hopefully a win against Oregon. That's what I'm most excited about.
But the Civil War is the biggest game here, and if we can win that, that just gives everybody, all OSU fans everywhere, excitement. So that's gonna pump us up a lot and carry us to the Rose Bowl probably.
Beaver fans say they hope Kelly's departure will help the Beavers in recruiting.
I am excited because, like I've heard around, recruiting is going to be a lot better. Chip Kelly was a really good coach and people are really excited to play for him, but now that he's gone, hopefully we can get some better recruits.
Beaver fans say they're excited to see what the season holds, but they're going to have to wait until August for the start of the season. In Corvallis, Carly Gomez, KVAL News.
We asked our Facebook fans what they think about Chip's big decision. Andrea says Chip Kelly belongs to the Ducks. End of story. I love my Ducks, and my Ducks love Chip Kelly.
We want to know what you think about Chip's decision to go pro. Head on over to our KVAL Facebook page and jump in with everyone on the conversation.
The U of O has already posted the head football coaching job opening online. And in case you're wondering what it takes, they're looking for someone with a bachelor's degree who has 5 years of collegiate or professional coaching experience. We posted a link of the job opening on kval.com.
Well, you can join in our poll, trying to find out what folks think about Chip's decision to leave. The poll and more coverage on kval.com. We'll be right back.